Well, hello everybody. Today I want to share a product with you that I purchased. It is a Hobie Kayak through hole wiring kit. You see I have my Lowrance Elite 5 fish finder mounted to my kayak. These are ram mounts. This is the transducer for this fish finder. Originally what I would do is I would mount my equipment, then I would take my wires and I would hook them up to my battery box inside this cargo hold, which is fine, works out alright. But you know, I don't like the look. I don't like all these wires hanging out. I don't like having to pinch it off on my lid here. I've decided that I wanted to go ahead and run wiring through the hole, connect everything to my battery box down below. Okay, this kit comes with 2 plug assemblies. The instructions call for me to have to drill a 1-inch hole to pass my wires through. Well, you can use a 1-inch paddle bit. What I'm going to use is a step-up bit. I believe it goes up to almost 1 1/8", so that should work. Okay, what I'm going to do now is move this stuff out of my way so I can work. Okay, now I've already predetermined where I want my holes to go. They're going to be right about in here, so I'm going to drill pilot holes first. Okay, now that I've done that, take out my step-up bit. And like I said, this goes up to 1 1/8", so that should be plenty. And every now and then making sure. Okay, use more. Now the instructions call to drill this out to 1 inch. What I'll do is I will drill it out to just under 1 inch. These plugs have threads on them. And so this way I can thread this in here and it'll make it tighter that way. So that's threaded in there. Now that's not going to stay there like that. I got to take that out. I've got some other things I need to do, but I'm going to drill out this second hole. Now that I've done that, I want to run my wires through. For this graph, power wire and the transducer wire both come together into the back of the Lowrance unit. So I've got to go ahead and feed through the transducer hole my wiring. Then I'm going to go ahead and run this out here. There you go. Now I've got my 2 wires coming through. Next I want to choose one of these rubber plugs that'll fit the single wire tightly, and I believe this one here will do it. And this is a single wire rubber plug that wraps around this single wire transducer cable. And what I want to do now is I want to run that rubber plug up through this slot here. Just give it a little tight, but that's good. You want it tight, you want it watertight. Alright. Okay, you can spin that in any direction you want. Next you have this rubber gasket and that keeper nut there. You want to thread those on your cable also. That's what's going to keep these plugs in place. The rubber gasket is going to help keep it watertight. Alright, there you go. So that wire is nice and hidden. Now I'm going to do the same thing to this one. The only real difference with this one I see is the different rubber plug that I'm going to use. Now this is 2 wire. These are 2 different size wires on here, so I'm going to pick the right one. I believe this one here will work. Got two different size wire holes here. Pull that off. Make sure I get my keeper nut and my gasket on there. Almost through. Alright. Now, again, I'll slide this assembly back together. Make sure that rubber plug seats in there right. So I'm just using the end of this drill bit here to push that in there. Make sure it seats inside that housing. That way I keep a nice watertight seal. Okay. Okay, so here's my battery box. Now all I have to do is plug my graph in. Turn it on. Yep. Everything works. Everything works as designed. This battery box is a box that I made. Basically, it's a two 12-volt batteries that I've run in parallel inside this waterproof case, and this wire SAE wire comes out that I have wired into the batteries, and I have a SAE adapter on the end of this power cord to the Lowrance. Just set this down aside here. There you have it. No wires hanging out, and everything works. So that gives this a nice clean look. No wires hanging out, nothing that I can get hooked on with hooks or bait or fish flopping around and knocking stuff around. This is all very contained. So anyhow, if you would stay tuned to my channel, I'm also going to be installing this product here I picked up. What this is here on this side, this is a voltage meter. My battery that I have in here will be wired to this and tell me how much battery life I have. Plus, of course, I have some USB charging ports and a cigarette lighter charging port, so I could charge my phone, or I could charge GoPro cameras, because you know those batteries don't ever last. But I have some different options here. I picked this up on Amazon. I believe this is like $13.99 maybe, but it's got a nice little spot right here that I can mount that on. I'll have power from my battery, because I can also run a spotlight out of this. I could charge a spotlight, but anyhow, that's coming up next. Great. All right, have a nice day. Thank you.